Iserlohn. Iserlohn, Iserlohn, Iserlohn. So, some of you mentioned that you are missing the start of the chat, and so I put the highlight right at the start, and I hope you can now hear me. Hello and welcome to my weekly Spielworxx chat, and I hope you are all well and healthy in these times. And most important, 3 days till my haircut, and here I can really say it is about time. As usual, I will first talk about a couple of topics, then I'll respond to any questions that you may have. The most important news, of course, is the Tribune Kickstarter run by my friends of IndieBoard and Cards and Stronghold Games, and that Kickstarter is now live. So woohoo! So I'm really very excited. And please check out the Kickstarter page of this classic Kalle Schmiel game that includes all new material. And if you have any questions on the game, so please write them in the chat to the right here, and I will respond in a few minutes. But before I go to that, viewer Daniel, and I already saw him here in the chat, he asked me a question in advance, and that is fitting very well here. So he knows that I'm working on game 3 of the Kalle series, Lieber, bairisch, sterben. That is roughly translated in English. It is better die as a Bavarian. And by the way, this game is on the peasant revolts in Bavaria in the early 18th century. And Daniel asks, will there be many changes compared to the Mosquito release from 1988, or will they be mainly cosmetic? And since I've never played it, how does it play with 3 players? So first, some games age very well, so like Die Macher, and some don't. And I fear that Lieber, bairisch, sterben is such a game. So the game needs a complete revamp, and a lot of the mechanics these days, they feel cumbersome or outdated. But because Kalle is a genius and always ahead of his times, 2 central elements of the Mosquito edition, they will be kept. So combat resolution is still by cards. So each player has a deck has some cards in their hands. And this was 2 years ago, that was very innovative. Of course, the number of cards, the mechanics, how to play the cards, that will be changed, but combat resolution is by cards in the player's hands. And moreover, and this is even more important, in the game you are allowed to switch sides. So during the game. So you are not playing the Austrians, you are not playing the Prince Elector, or you're not playing the peasants all the time. So at the end of a game turn, you may, under certain conditions, you may switch sides. And this mechanic, as you all know, this is still very rarely used in modern games. So how does the game play with 3 players? The simple answer is it only plays well with 3 players. The original edition, that was for 3 to 5 players, but that was a zeitgeist. At that time, you could not sell a game that was just for 3 players. You needed a player range. And this has clearly changed, at least in the hobby field. And while 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 are still best, you can now sell a game for just 3 players. At least in my opinion, if the game is any good. And I was looking to have the game, so Lieber, bairisch, sterben, out next year, but it may be pushed back to 2022 because Kalle and we were not able to test the game in the last few months at all. So remember, it is just for 3 players, and here in Germany we could not get together, or with a maximum of 2 players. And maybe you remember from last week the brief talk on Solarius Mission from the chat. And well, after 2 hours after the chat, Flying Lemur Games, they posted an update at Kickstarter that the game is again on track. And this would be wonderful, and maybe we here in the chat, we had some influence. And afterwards, I contacted Flying Lemur and asked a couple of questions, and guess what? No response. So we have to wait and see what will happen. And Daniel had another question in advance. With the release of Weimar being scheduled for 2021 by Compass Games, will we see one of Matthias Kramer's new designs at Spielworxx? And I'd love to do a game by him, and I've talked to him about this. But however, right now Matthias is taking a break from game design, and on top of that he's also in the process of moving. So do not hold your breath. It may happen, and my doors are always open for any Matthias designs, but I doubt that this will happen in the near future. And that brute Daniel, he had a brief off-topic question. You as an expert, who do you think is the best singer in the world, and why is it Rummelsnuff? And my response, very simple, you are absolutely right, it is Rummelsnuff, because he is simply a Gesamtkunstwerk. And I will now type in Rummelsnuff so that you can all check him out at YouTube, because it is something. If you think that Rummelsnuff, now that is even wrongly spelled by me, Rummelsnuff, I guess that should do it. Is it an N? I can't type here. So if you think that Rammstein or Kraftwerk or Einstürzende Neubauten, that they are Germany's finest in music, check out Rummelsnuff and you know what we mean. So, but now if you have any questions for me, I will look them up in the chat and respond to them. And maybe on Tribune or the cancelled convention season, let me just scroll through the chat what I'm having here. So there's Andreas. So if you've checked out the Tribune Kickstarter page, you may have noticed there is a video where Kalle, so mainly Kalle, I'm just holding some papers there. We do a video, and Kalle is explaining the Tribune rules in that video. But we were allowed to film this at Andreas' house, and Andreas is one of the best any language video bloggers around for gaming. And so Kalle and I, we are very thankful that Andreas, he is well known for Klickenabend, of course, that he allowed us to be with him and his lovely wife and his kid. So thank you again from here. So, yeah, okay. Stimmung, yeah. Oh, Kira, nice to meet you here. So Kira, of course, she put together the Tribune Kickstarter page, and now I can hardly see anything because the sun is shining nicely still in Germany. So, welcome to the stream, Haluli. Thank you. There is a question, can you drink beer while playing Tribune? My short answer is yes, it depends. If you are drinking maybe too many, you're not in first place, but otherwise, of course, some say it's mandatory to drink a beer if you're playing a game with me, so yes, of course. And there is a quick answer, yes, you have to. And Stephen, hi Stephen, there's a link to the Tribune Kickstarter page, and I put that link in as well at the start of this Twitch. While playing Tribune, chat, yeah, must drink beer. Or Italian wine while playing, yes, of course. If it's cheap Prosecco, like my favorite style, that of course you have to do. yeah, and Andreas is also, as Daniel is mentioning here, he is doing the Mallorca editors meeting in this year. It would have been in early August, but this is unfortunately also cancelled like most stuff. Yeah, very sad. Yeah, of course. Give me a hint that Nick Daniel needs a break. Yeah, Rummelsnuff, that was for me. That is really something. Please list the nominations for Spiel des Jahres. I won't. I know that this is something that I should not do right now, because yesterday I was looking at Twitter in morning in Germany, of course, and the nominations for Spiel des Jahres, Kinderspiel des Jahres and Kennerspiel des Jahres were made, and within minutes I had 50 different postings of these, and well, I know that everybody wants to be very quick with the news, but after a while it's not that fun anymore. So, and actually I've already forgotten who were nominated, but congrats, of course, in earnest, congrats to anybody nominated. And seeing Stephen, of course, I think that you are doing Nova Luna in English, so of course I'm rooting for you here. Yeah, you are not allowed, you were just joking. So bright there. Yeah, it is bright right now, so maybe I have to change this a little bit, just a second. So, because sun is shining again. So now you see me with shades. This is even worse, I think, but well. Somebody is mentioning shipping costs and taxes for Tribune are high. Will the total amount be the same with your offer? I'm definitely taking it in Kickstarter. Yes, so shipping costs these days are high. This is a fact, and this is a big and heavy game, so you can't really change it. And as I mentioned, I will, so Spielworxx from my website, I will have a very, very limited number of games, so probably at most 100 copies after the Kickstarter campaign has ended. So you can order them from my website, but definitely the total amount, including shipping, will be even a little bit higher than the Kickstarter costs, including shipping. So and I can't change this at all. And so if you want the fastest deal and the least expensive deal, then please go to Kickstarter. Did you already play the card game prototype of Orkrite? How is it? Yes, of course, Andreas asked. So yes, of course, I played it. The game is very good. Stefan is an excellent designer, and in the end I decided to not do the game for Spielworxx. So the game will be done by Game Brewer, because Spielworxx, with my limited print run levels, I need games that have more components and are a little bit more costly. So with card games, and Orkrite the card game has a little bit of wood and has a little bit of cardboard material, but it's still a compact game, so I could not really fit it into the Spielworxx line. But your question, short answer, the prototype is really, really good. No Prosecco? Steven says, well, of course Prosecco. So somebody's already said that he's losing faith in Solarius Mission in the campaign. I can understand, yeah. And Steven is confirming that Nova Luna has been nominated for Spiel des Jahres. So I'm rooting for Spielwiese and Stronghold Games here, and it is a really nice game. Andre, hi Andre. Now that Spiel 20 is cancelled, we as board game aficionados, I can't even pronounce this, lose a convention. How do you estimate the impact on the board gaming industry? it's a very difficult, it's a very good question and a very difficult question. And actually, I don't know. I really don't know what the impact will. In my opinion, and this is just me, the industry, the board gaming industry, needs some huge conventions. We need an Origins, we need a Lucca, we need an Essen, we need a Gen Con. Because gaming, board gaming, tabletop gaming is a social experience. So it is very important that people come together, play games, are excited that there are so many other gamers around who share the same hobby. So it is definitely an important thing. And all these digital events, we now have an Origins digital, I think UK Games Expo is also moving to digital. Spiel, so Friedrich Merz Verlag today announced that they will have a Spiel digital. All nice, and I really applaud them for this effort. I'm sure it is a lot of work to do this well, but it is not a substitute. It is not even close to being a substitute. But for this year, I feel, although Gen Con is not cancelled at this time, I fear it is the best we can have, but still the impact will be probably substantial. Andreas, any news on Spielworxx re-implemented version of Pax Porfiana? Maybe this is my next to Pax Pamir, this is my favorite Pax game. But it is very difficult to work with Phil because he's special. He is not a difficult person per se, but he has a very clear view, and some things are not important to him. And to me, something is important, how the card layout is arranged, and maybe there is a chance in the future, but right now I don't see it happen. So, how do you test your games at the moment due to Corona? Another very good question. So, I can only test with two here. I've lost my local tester. We hope that we restart in June, so next month. Hopefully this will work out, and gradually I hope to restart testing with 3 or 4. I'm fortunate that some of the designers are really very nice. So, for example, Jason Dinger, who did Captains of the Gulf and soon Crescent City Cargo, that he did a vessel module for Acadians, and I'm playing the game regularly with him. So I can test the game, and I'm sure we will invite blind play testers very soon for that game. And Claude, who I've seen here earlier in the chat, he has hinted that he will work on a vessel module for Griffintown. So maybe this is something for the future as well. So more online testing, which of course is not 100% the same thing. Because when I'm testing around the table, I can also view people's faces, see, and maybe there are some hints if they like a game, if they don't like some stuff in the game, and this will be of course missing, but we'll see what the future may bring. It underlies your smoky eyes. Right, this is very, very, very correct. Spieletreffen. I already got a vacation permit for Spiel 20, and luckily I haven't booked any accommodation yet. For 2021, I guess. So, because this year, it's no. We talked about this earlier, so I'm not doing anything. The camera is zooming in and out automatically, so I can't do anything. And I know it looks stupid, but I love it. In a way, I love it even. And Andre, he mentions here, Andreas, this is probably for you also interesting that he has played the Orkrite, the card game, and he seconds this. It's a very nice. It's a very nice game. Is your work with Spielworxx your main job? Yes, it is. So I'm 100% in the gaming industry. But you have to see, I'm living from home, I'm working from home, I'm living in a rural area, my costs are pretty low. And Matt is saying, by the way, Matt, if you haven't seen him in an earlier chat, he's the designer of Squaring, Circleville, of Raising Chicago, and right now he's in the process of designing a third game, and the first two games that I mentioned, they are both under contract at Spielworxx. He says, I will be shocked if Gen Con is not cancelled, and I agree. Yeah, especially, I've heard that Indiana is one of the hotspots in the US with corona cases. But let's assume for a second there will be a Gen Con. It will be just, it won't be Gen Con. So most Europeans will miss. Of course, Europeans are not in the majority at Gen Con, but some international flair will be missed. And of course, I can't think about having 60,000 Americans go to Indianapolis. I really doubt it. So I think it will be cancelled soon. Tribune shipping to Germany is quite hefty. After all, it's a German publisher. Why is shipping to Germany so expensive? Yeah, the thing is, I'm living here in Germany. Absolutely right. Spielworxx is a German company, but the games are not necessarily being produced in Germany. So, and this Kickstarter is run by my friends here from Indie and Stronghold. So the this game, Tribune, will be in wonderful quality, be printed in China, and from there it has been sent out to the US, to Europe, and this is the result why the shipping costs are quite high. And on top of that, it's a big game. It's a game that is more than 2 German kilos. When can we play, welcome and hello to Berlin. When can we play the vessel module for the Grand Trunk Journey? As soon as possible. This day, actually, I talked to the module designer, and he has finished the last module ahead of the Grand Trunk Journey, so he will start. But this is done aside. This is not his main job. It's just a hobby thing. So don't really push him. I can't push him. When it's done, it's done. And of course, I will immediately announce when it's done and add the module to my website. Andreas says, I was looking forward to play it in Mallorca 2020, but yes, we will. I can already tell you now that we will have a grand Mallorca editors meeting next year. It will be one of the highlights. We will have a great time. I know some people here, I see from the next one, but this is not a question. And there is Phil from Spielworxx. So in my very first chat, I mentioned Watch by Daniel Newman. And this is a game that will be done by Spielworxx, or has been done by Spielworxx, and will be distributed by PD Verlag in Germany. And Spielworxx wants to get rich or die trying. Yes, of course. This is why I'm in the tabletop business. I want to be rich and famous. So where does your Iserlohn Roosters or ice hockey passion actually come from? I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I know my earliest memories on hockey are from '76 when I watched hockey in television, but then it disappeared till the 80s when I was able to see a live game, and that was not even at Iserlohn, but Iserlohn was the away team, and I immediately loved the colors, blue-white, because my soccer colors are blue-white, and they were playing really roughly, and so I liked this. So, but I love hockey as a sport because it's so fast and so furious and so much is happening. And in Germany, in contrast to the NHL, of course the NHL, the quality is so much better. It's the best league in the world. But here you see we have standing grounds and it's so much louder, and I prefer this. And there will be news about it, about a watch by Spielworxx. 76 when Uli graduated university. No, actually I was already out from university there. I think I had my 10th work year anniversary in 76. Victor, I know that art is subjective, but I personally think the original game's art is way better than the reprint. This is the game's final art. Yeah, well, this is subjective. I had a talk about graphics last week, and I must say that the original art of Tribune is very nice, but it's also way too dark on the board, and it has some other problems that, in my opinion, at least, the new edition makes much better. But you have to see the game in line of other Spielworxx releases. We have a certain art style. I'm not saying that this is better, but definitely it's my style. So if you don't like it, art is, as you are saying, very subjective. Call to freezers. No, we are not talking about hockey anymore. And Andreas, yeah, thank you. You made my day perfect. Hope to see you soon. I hope to see you in person soon as well. It would be fantastic for sure. Are there any plans for a cooperation with Spielworxx? You know, Phil and I, we are very close, and we talk about games. We have a similar view on games. So it's not an official thing that the games are connected, but as we look into games from the same angle, that it is not a cooperation, but yeah, well, we'll see. If I see a game, for example, that I think this is fantastic, but it's not a Spielworxx game, it might still be a Spielworxx game. So it might end up with Phil. So we'll see what the future will bring here. And Stephen is there. So Gen Con has been cancelled officially, just announced by them 4 minutes ago. So you see, no conventions this year. It's happening. It's happening. Yeah, and looking at the clock here, so getting back to almost to watch. It's we are running 28 minutes. And somebody else is again asking who is nominated for Spiel des Jahres. So next time I will have the answer to this one, to that question. So thank you for your time, and it would be, if you would like to have me discuss a specific topic or answer a specific question in advance, please drop me a mail at uli@spielworxx.de. That is uli@spielworxx.de, and I will respond to this next week. So till next week, bleibt gesund and have a great time playing games at home or online. Bye bye.